Once Upon a Time in Hollywood is, as the advertising proudly tells us, the 9th film from Quentin Tarantino. Except he recently revealed that Kill Bill is really one film, which means that this is his 8th? But then, what about Death Proof and Grindhouse? IMDb's no help. It claims he's directed 22 things, including an episode of ER. That must have been a bit of a lame change. You know what? It's too early in the morning for an existential mathematical crisis, so I'm just going to say that Once Upon a Time in Hollywood is a film from noted phalanges enthusiast Quentin Tarantino. And it is a film about... what the hell is it about? Tarantino has asked us not to spoil the film, and I fully intend to honour it, so I'm simply going to say that Once Upon a Time is about a faded television actor and his stunt double striving to achieve fame and success in the film industry during the final years of Hollywood's golden age in 1969 Los Angeles, which already throws up an issue as the golden age of Hollywood had long been over by then, by practically 2 decades. The 1960s to the 1980s are, according to movie historians, considered the era of post-classical cinema. But as this is the era that Tarantino grew up watching, this is, and indeed comes across as, a love letter to the Hollywood of his childhood. It's a film that feels like a dream, a tale of, life. Or, as ABBA called it in their masterly song about being over the hill and on your way down while seeing the next big thing coming to take your place in the eternal
circle of life.
About
rage against the dying of the light.
Whilst in another thread, Brad Pitt's former stuntman seems more philosophical about it all, just hanging around with Leonardo DiCaprio, who spends most of this film looking like Zac Efron's dad. Whereas in a third plot thread, Margot Robbie's Sharon Tate just sort of hangs out and goes to see her own movies. That's the first 2 hours. They're baggy, saggy, full of scenes and indeed entire segments that could have been cut. But then, it wouldn't have been a Tarantino film. And yes, I did say the first 2 hours. This film is a Lord of the Rings long. But unlike that slightly overrated series, this film flew by. For me, I get the feeling the love of my life was slightly less enraptured. Then, in the last 45 minutes, something resembling a plot turns up and we see where Tarantino is heading. And that's all I'm going to say on the matter, aside from the fact that we both love the ending. Besides, there's so much more to say about this film because, and I know you'll never believe this, a Tarantino film has been making the controversy rounds. And he normally makes such sweet, family-friendly, uncontroversial films. But the controversy this time has not been from where you'd expect, but instead from Bruce Lee's estate of all places, which seems pretty tame given all the controversies he's engendered in the past. Also, if last year's completely awful Birth of the Dragon didn't do anything to Bruce Lee's legacy, a 2-minute cameo in what might possibly be a dream sequence ain't gonna change anything. It's hard to quantify Once Upon a Time. It's baggy but also tight. It's so easy to state that the first 2 hours of the film are plotless, but they develop such interesting characters it barely seems to matter. There are loads of Tarantino films with strong narratives, but this is a reminiscence of the kinds of films that you grew up watching then hold up as ideals that modern films can never measure up to. Unless you came of cinematic age in the 90s. Then you cling on to the 80s for dear life. I don't think it's going to get any Oscar nominations, even though all the lead cast deserve them, and I don't think it's going to stand up to repeat viewings or be put on at movie night at Chateau Miles anytime soon. It's the kind of film you watch twice. Once to see it, then again to see what you missed, and then probably never again. Some people might not even manage that. I noticed a few people walking out of my screening and a few others shuffling in their seats, but if you can get this film, then you'll love it. The way it looks back in a slightly idealised way about a time that has passed and will never come again. Besides, the day a Tarantino film pleases everyone is the day Jai Courtney wins an Oscar and brings about the end times. There is no one else like Tarantino who could have made what by rights should be a shambling, overlong, even though the original cut ran for 4.5 hours, which I'm sure will come out one day, mess of a film. I mean, in many ways, it is a mess, but looking back, I just can't see what I would cut. It's no masterpiece, but I kind of get what it was going at, and I love the little touches, putting DiCaprio into old roles that his character almost got, and just the whole feel of the film. Don't go into Once Upon a Time in Hollywood expecting anything. The title should be a clue. It's a dream, a what if, a singular vision made by a singular filmmaker, and whether he only makes 1 or 2 more movies, I'll still be waiting for them with bated breath and tickets booked for opening night. So, I guess what I'm saying is with a very open mind, you should see it. But what did you guys think? And what do you guys make of Tarantino as a whole? Comment below, let me know. I'm Daniel, it's been a dunking. If you've enjoyed this video, please like, share and subscribe.